Hey folks, it's Nate. Thanks for joining me once again as we look to the horizon, and I am here bringing you another quick update. I have started my short fiction extravaganza on my blog. I have already this week gone through and done pretty much all the editing and updates I want to do to most of those stories. So, really, the rest of March and most of April on the blog are set up and squared away. That's really nice. It gives me time to focus on other things, and I have been working on the two and a half chapters of A Candle in the Wind this week. It's coming along really well, um, almost worryingly well. I'm worried I'm going to hit writer's block somewhere along the line here and just be stuck for a long time. But we'll see. No point borrowing trouble. As long as it goes well, I'll keep plugging away at it. Um, Comparing what I've written to the outline, I think we are probably going to have a 12, at the outside, 15 chapter novella. So maybe 30,000 words. You're starting to press the definition of novella at that point, but I don't think it's actually going to be that long. I think we're going to have something closer to 20 to 25,000 words, somewhere in there. We'll see. Obviously, there's a lot to do there. Since I mentioned before, I had the idea of making an inanimate object, in this case a statue, a viewpoint character who kind of, we see some of the story through its point of view, so to speak. That was an idea that I had after pretty much the outline was solidified. So some of the interludes that I'm doing there are not reflected in the outline, and they are going to, we'll see how they influence things. Um, I don't expect they will add more than 1,000, maybe 2,000 words to the story at the outside. We'll keep plugging away at it. We'll see how it turns out. This is something, again, that I'm really just experimenting with, and I don't know even if I'm going to keep all the stuff that I put down to paper. I have written two of these already. So, yes, there's basically one in each of the first two chapters, or you could consider it a prologue, I guess, and then an interlude between the first two chapters. I haven't decided how I'm going to break that up. Obviously, for publishing on the blog, I think they're just going to be rolled into what comes before or after them. But yeah, so far I liked what I've done with it. It's kind of an it requires a lot of extra thought to decide how I'm going to use that storytelling device. Let's put it that way. So, plugging away at that, I will probably sometime in the next week or so begin transcribing stuff that I have already written to the digital medium, in the transcription and first editing pass being something that kind of happens together there. And my hope is to start doing that this week, next week at the latest. That usually goes pretty fast. I can usually transcribe 4 to 6, sometimes even 8 handwritten pages in an hour to an hour and a half session. And unless I have to either look something up or I realize something needs to be completely rewritten, or I decide to add something or substitute something, I can usually do 4 to 6, maybe at the outside 8 pages if I don't do any major, if I don't rewrite pretty much anything at all except for maybe 1 or 2 words for grammar. I can do 8 pages in an hour to an hour and a half, which is usually about how much time I have to sit down at the keyboard in the evening once everything else is taken care of. So, coming along very well there. I think it's going pretty well. Um, I'm working on a short story for Iron Age Media. Of course, I want to do at least one of those a month, and one of my goals for the year is, of course, to do a short story that wins the popular voting on that website. So we'll see, but I have to have at least one available every month. I really like the idea that I'm playing with now. It's kind of a retro sci-fi story, more of a atomic punk story, I think, than, say, a steampunk story. But something that has a bit of that pulpy, really optimistic and adventure-laden sci-fi that you might get with a Buck Rogers or something like that, rather than a lot of this very dreary and often dystopian sci-fi that we have in the modern day. So hopefully that will be fun once I get it all worked out. Finally, I am working on a couple of the ideas because I said I wanted to document my process in writing a story this year, and I thought it would be really interesting to do that and see what I get out of doing that and what kind of things I can share. And now that I'm done pretty much with the outlining process for A Candle in the Wind, I have written up some thoughts on that, and there's nothing groundbreaking in that part of it, I think. But it was an interesting experience to sit down and apply that really critical lens to what I was doing there. And I think there were no revelations, but I think it was very healthy to do. That said, when I do publish this series, I don't think that just the outlining process is going to be a installment in it, because I don't think there's enough there to really fill out an entire blog post. So I'm probably going to roll that in together with the initial writing process. So I'm not ready to say I have anything done on that particular goal for the year. Still, very interesting to do. I think very healthy and will hopefully make me a better writer, which is, of course, the reason why I'm doing this in the first place. That's what I got for you this week on the writing front. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. There's a like button and a subscribe button down there. You can use those as you see fit, and I'll talk to you later.